So, in today's video, I'm going to explain the thumbnail, and before I make you watch the whole video, I'll just get it out of the way and explain why I bought a greenhouse. And to do that, we'll start off in the warehouse, or the car shed, whatever you want to call it. Turn that fan off. So, as I've said before in a few of my videos, this was actually built as a greenhouse, this building, as might be obvious. The make of it is a Unique, which is I think it was a Dutch company that used to make greenhouses. I don't think they make them anymore. The woman I've bought this new greenhouse off was saying that apparently you can still get parts for these greenhouses, but there's no one making the frames or putting them up anymore, which is news to me. I didn't even know that you could get parts for them. So, but yeah, they were really good, solid greenhouses. I think this one was built obviously originally with glass, and I think it originally didn't have these zigzag cross beams in. I think my mum was saying that it had a row of posts down the middle of here, in the middle of that bay to start with, which I think is how the one that I've bought is laid. Well, it is how the one that I've bought is laid out. We didn't know up until recently because I didn't have a chance to go and look at the thing, and I couldn't just tell from the photos. So it's got so with the posts, obviously you've got more posts. You've got basically a post every 10-foot square, but you've got a higher ground clearance, roof clearance. So yeah, those are the pros and cons. This shed, I've always said that this shed's a really handy shed. Calves do well in here. The worst thing about it is it just wants to be 2 or 3 foot higher, because I can get my JCB in, but I can't get anything else in here. Can't even get the digger in the doorway. And it's just not high enough. It's not high enough to lift round bales in over the gates, and you can get the JCB in, but you have to be very careful not to lift the boom too high, because like you end up with things like that where I've bent that was me. I bent that trying to get a round bale in that. You wouldn't believe that, would you? I would have thought that a round bale would go in that gap, but apparently not. It didn't fit. So anyway, I'll go up. So yeah, this shed's they put I think it's a Kingspan roof on, which is steel. They're steel roof sheets, but they've got insulation between them, so they're real strong. You could run across this roof. A fully grown adult could run across the roof in all directions, and it's as solid as a rock. And all it is it's just literally. You take the glass out, which are just slotted into the gutters, and then you lay these sheets on top and just tack screw them in. I think there's 3 tack screws, top and bottom of each one, and then there's this bit of plate, which it tack screws to. Once you've got the first 2 on, which you need a bit of a jig to get the first 2 on, you're away. Then you put your plate on, and then you just lean the roof sheets up onto the plate, tack screw them in. It's dead easy. The whole shed's just held on with tack screws, but it is, believe me when I say it is solid. You can run across it. So it makes this frame flipping useful shed. The worst thing is to stop the condensation. You still sometimes get condensation dripping from these gutters. It doesn't come off the roof, but the gutters build condensation. So I think if you sprayed it with some sort of fibrous spray, or I've seen people put like polystyrene insulation around the gutters to stop that happening, but we've never bothered. You just, in the summer, you just try and make sure that you don't park anything underneath the drips, because it does drip. So yeah, But yeah, it's a handy shed, and to explain more, I'll go to my other greenhouse. This is still a greenhouse. This is the one that you'll have seen we were fixing the roof in the other day, me and Dan. And as we were doing it, we were just saying, I think I even said in the video, that they're really handy frames, these unique. This is the same make as the calf shed. It's a unique greenhouse. It says there on the plaque of the doors. This is obviously a lot older than the one that I've bought, because the one I've bought is, the doors are a lot more new looking than my rotten ones, and the gutters are slightly bigger and more of a square shape, which should make them a bit better really, because the worst thing about these is that the gutters soon fill up with leaves, and when they fill up with leaves, the water can then go underneath the glass if they overflow and then drip in. So this is the style. This is basically the style of the one I've bought. It's got posts in the middle, every 10-foot bays, 10-foot square bays. But this is obviously only 3x2. The one I've bought is, I think it's 10 bays, so it's 100 foot by 2 foot, so it's 20 foot by 100 foot long. The warehouse, I think, the calf shed, I think, is 11 bays or maybe 12. Can't remember. But it's not quite as long as the calf shed. But our plan was to raise it up, because this is just not high enough to get anything in. So we were thinking we could, instead of having 10 bays, we could have like 6 bays or 7 bays maybe, depending on, we've got to work out. We could have 70 foot and cut the posts into 3, weld them onto the post we've got left, if that makes sense. We could take 2 bays or 3 bays, cut up the posts into 3, and extend the posts on the 7 bays we've got left to make them 3 foot higher, which would give you a clearance of, I think, 11 or 12 foot. So, I mean, what do you think? That will certainly make it high enough to get a tractor in. But that leads me to what we're going to use it for. So I'll go up to where I'm thinking of putting it. So this bit of soil here was the site of the old cottage where I grew up. That's obviously the house that's replaced it. So my mum and dad built that house, knocked this house down, and under here is all the footings are still there. The concrete floor of the house is still there. And when they dug the footings from that one, they just tipped all the soil on top of the footings, on top of the concrete, to cover it up, and planted a load of shrubs all over the top of it. So as you'll see in one of the next clips, I'll put it in the video, we've dug the only nice one plant in it that was worth keeping was like a copper beech, which is right in the middle. So that's what that crater shaped hole is. You'll see in the clip. We dug it out and transplanted it. Anyway, so this is where I was thinking of putting the new greenhouse, or the new shed, or whatever it's going to be, because we could start building it here somewhere, still have plenty of room on the driveway, and then we could go up to near enough where the trailer is, or the end of those bales, which would be 70 foot, I think, 7 bays, depending on where we started. So yeah, that's where we were thinking of putting it. But the question is, what do we do? What we're going to do with it? My initial thought was, with that calf shed being such a handy shed, we'd try and make it into a cattle shed. So I don't know. It's got a lot of work ahead of us, because it's a massive project to take it down. and then it'll be a big project putting the frame up before we have to decide what roof we're going to put on it. There's two options. We either splash out and buy a Kingspan roof the same as what's on the calf shed, in which case it would just be any general purpose shed that you could use it for anything really, storage or straw or machinery storage or anything. Or we go with a cheaper route and just put the glass back on it, which is not going to cost us anything. But then you're limiting its use, because you don't really want to be putting machinery in it in a greenhouse that's going to fade. So like the John Deere tractors, any plastic is going to fade like mad inside of a greenhouse. That's the downside. Certain things you could put in, like you could put that bale trailer in, and you know, there's lots of things you could put in which won't take any harm. But machinery wise, yeah, you don't want to be really storing plastic things in for any long, I mean short term is fine, but for any long period of time. So there's that to think about. If we were going to put straw in it, like stack bales in it, 12-foot clearance isn't only going to give you enough room to put 2 bales high, round bales. So you'd probably want less bays but go way higher. You'd almost want to double the height of the, you know, just weld 2 poles together. Try and make it like 18 foot high. I haven't really considered that. I mean, when I bought it, my plan A was just to make another cattle shed. Use the frame to create a roof. Don't put any sides on it, so it's plenty airy, and then use like short bits of RSJ, which you can pick up reasonably cheap and easy second hand, to put panels around the outside, concrete panels, so that your concrete panels aren't sitting on your posts. But I can't decide what's the best thing to do for the long term, because ideally in a cattle shed you want the floor concreted. And I don't know whether I want to concrete it down in case I ever want to move it again. That's the thing. So got lots of options, lots of things to think about. It does have vents in it all along with an automatic vent system, so you can just set the temperature, and if it gets to a certain temperature it just opens the vents and keeps opening them till they're full if it needs that much air to get the temperature down. So I don't know whether we'd have that set up, but we certainly have the vents. If we were going to put cattle in it, we certainly just have the vents open all summer probably, and probably shut all winter. I mean, I think I can hear you saying that you'll cook cattle in a greenhouse, but if it's got no sides on it, I can't see it getting that hot, especially with the weather that we seem to have in this country. I did take a little bit of a clip. Me and Dad went to have a look at the greenhouse the other day, and there's a very short clip of footage. You feel a bit of a knob filming on someone else's property. You feel a bit of a knob filming on your own property walking around, but never mind someone else's. But we will be, you know, you'll see the progress of us taking it down. We've got to get all the glass out of it. So we'll be filming time-lapse things of that over the next couple of weeks probably. It's not going to happen in a hurry because I've got that many other things on. But that's my plan anyway. That's what I was thinking of, utilising that ground over there. Obviously I'm going to have to find somewhere else to put my bales. And there's a lot of decisions to make. What I will do is price up what it will cost to put a solid roof on it. But we're a long way off that. There's a load of work taking it down. There's a load of work cutting up and welding it, extending to whatever height we decide to do. Let me know what you think anyway. What's an ideal height? You know, lowest height for a shed. You always want to go a little bit bigger than what you think I would have thought, but it's hard to know. It depends what you're going to use it for. That pole barn up there that we've extended with the scrap last year, I mean, it's great for stacking bales in, but I'm starting to think more and more maybe I should be using that pole barn for cattle because it's a solid frame and you can put panels against it. In which case the roof is a bit high really. The roof's that, because it's only a single span, the roof's that high that the rain blows in. So for cattle you probably want a lower roof. So yeah, it depends on what you're doing with it, I know, but you have got to sort of find a middle ground somewhere. This shed's only just high enough to get a tractor in, and I think you have to take the beacon off to get it in. And I think this is, oh, I can't remember if it's 10 or 11 foot high. So that's the plan anyway, and that's the reason why I bought a greenhouse. Oh, I didn't explain, we bought the greenhouse. So what was funny was, a couple of days after we made the video where I mentioned how handy those frames were, me and Dan was saying, I bet you can't pick these greenhouses up anymore because, you know, they're just not the sort of thing that you find very easily. And then, like, literally a couple of days later I was browsing for a agricultural sale and looking for gates and barriers and things like I normally do, and right at the end of the sale there was a load of stuff from a nursery, and it had a load of greenhouses, and one of them was the exact make that we've got, which I wanted, and it wasn't going for a lot of money, so I just thought, blow it, I'll put a bid on. It didn't meet reserve, but they rung me up afterwards and said, oh, it's got to go off, it needs to be cleared off a site, so we'll take what you bid if you want it. So it's for nothing really. It's basically the work is what's going to cost, the time taking it down and putting it back up again. The value of it is next to nothing. So, and I couldn't put a shed up that size for less than, I mean, just the steel on its own would be thousands, a good couple of thousand. So that's why I decided to go for it. And the bonus thing is, it's only down the road, it's only about 4 miles down the road, so it's pretty handy to get to. So that's the story of why I bought a greenhouse anyway. So we'll get on with the rest of the video. I was just getting this concrete form just set up. I'm just going to put a bit of a concrete pad here. I think is the plan. Only a couple, 2 or 3 inch will do, just to give a bit of a level footing to put the. What we could do is mix some cement and put those blocks in cement, and then they won't ever fall over them like we did on the 4th shed. Bit squidgy, help if we didn't have all that rain. We had 2 nice days of no rain over Easter, and then we're back to square one now. Yeah, so we're just transplanting a tree, a beech tree, it's a copper beech. Oh! Almost fell off. Where we want to put the new building, there was a pile of soil that was it's on top. The soil was on top of the pad of the old house. When my mum and dad built the new house, they put all the soil on top of where the old house was, and for some reason my mum planted a load of plants all over it, one of which, the main one, was this copper beech, which has now got so big that we think it's probably going to fall over because it's sat on a pad of concrete. There's not enough soil really. If it gets much bigger and a strong wind, it's just going to blow over because it can't get any deep roots. So, and also I want to build my new greenhouse there, so we thought we'd try and transplant it. So just dug it out. It's quite a big tree, it's more than likely not going to survive, but we're having a go. Unfortunately I've just smashed this window on my digger, which is really annoying. I've done it before. I think last time we managed to get it fixed on the insurance, but it's typically the worst piece of glass to smash, and it's on a curve, so it's probably more expensive than any of the others combined, but that's a bit annoying. But anyway, we're going to try and finish the job, but I'm just going to need two hands now because I'm going to get stuck here if I'm not careful. So unfortunately, while we were moving the, as you've just seen, while we were moving the tree, I smashed this top window on the digger. I scraped all the glass off it, but it was all the paint. A lot of the paint come away with the glass glue, and it was a bit rusty in places. So I've cleaned it all up with a grinder and just put a bit of undercoat on over it. I've ordered the glass. It's 150 quid's worth of glass, just that little window on the top because it's curved. So hopefully I'll fit that myself when it comes, which should be tomorrow maybe. Land Rover needs looking at, it's thrown all its oil out, so just what we needed. Freshen the yard up a bit. Starting to get dusty. Yeah, I just got back from picking up these troughs. Never been used. They've just been, they were bought brand new, but never used, and sat in someone's yard. Concrete troughs, which I thought would be quite handy for putting. They're 8 foot each, so that's a 16-foot span. You could put them in front of a bay of me pole barn, and then just put some barriers over the top, or even just a solid bar over the top. That's what I was thinking. And you could just put silage and corn on top of the silage in the trough. So I thought they were quite cheap really for what they were. So, in fact, the fellow I got them off said you wouldn't have got one for the you wouldn't have got one for the price I got the two if you were buying them new. So, and got a couple of gates as well. So. Taking them into the pressure washer because it's already set up in my calf shed, so probably quicker to take the bin there than it is to bring the pressure washer to the bin. And I could just wash it off and then bring it back. come to check my sheep, and there's one stood in this kissing gate. I thought it was stuck. Yeah, there's not a great deal stopping them getting out there. They're obviously coming for a drink. Yeah, just come to have a look at these sheep. Christ, it's wet on me. Yeah, there's plenty of grass to eat, but it's not exactly wet underfoot. Dry underfoot. It looks as though I'm in big time lambing. Obviously one of these store lambs I bought was missed to be castrated, so I've ended up unintentionally lambing. We had one a couple of days ago, a nice set of twins. Real healthy, decent set of twins. But I was sort of hoping that'd be the only one, but just looking in the distance it looks as though there's another one lambed. So happy days. Some of them are still scratching themselves. They've been injected with ivermectin, which I was told would do the trick on the scabby mites or whatever they are. But I'm not convinced, because I've seen them quite a few times looking at them, that there's some still scratching away at themselves. And I don't know whether, Christ, they're muddy, where they've been lying down in the mud. Dirty things. I don't know whether they're scratching mites on them or whether they're scratching like dead skin, you know, after the mites have cleared off. Christ, some of these look rough. They're going to want shearing, some of these, before we sell them. Yeah, they're not going to want to be on here long, because they will start making a mess. You can see just around these trees. I can zoom in on this camera. Anyway, yeah, I thought I could see a second set of lambs, but I don't know where they've gone now. Hidden amongst them. Oh, I don't know. I was hoping they'd stop on here a couple of weeks, but the way they're churning the ground up, I don't know whether I want to risk it. I mean, you would like to think that I could get them off and get some fertiliser on here, but I'm never going to get near here with a tractor, so is there any rush taking them off? I don't know. Might need to invest in a set of dual wheels, front and back. But yeah, what I was hoping was, now they've been wormed for every bloody different type of worm, they should have put a bit of weight on, but it's been that bloody wet. I don't know whether this grass that they've all eaten off here would have just gone straight through them. Yeah, I was hoping that I could maybe weigh them, sell all the bigger ones, like at least half of them, just get them gone, whether they're ready or not, just get them gone, and what's left, maybe 10, 30 or so, 20 or 30 or so, just stick them in a shed, give them some silage and go and buy a couple of bags of creep, and just let them have it. Coming down the path, I feel a bit of a knob walking around the camera. Yeah, I was thinking sell half of them, bring the last lot, stragglers, dump them in, make a pen in the shed or something, and just give them silage and creep feed for like 2 weeks. Pick a date, cut them off, and then just sell the whole lot. Just whatever they make, because I'm just getting to the end of my patience with them. Just take some lessons away from it, really. I've learnt a few lessons. Keep a closer eye on them for bloody scab and stuff like that. They did get wormed over the winter. I mean, it's been a bad year, hasn't it, for sheep? it's been a hell of a hard year to try and, you know, fatten lambs on grass, because it's just never stopped raining and they just don't fatten. I was very lucky last year, it was wet most of the winter, but I had like 3 weeks of dry weather, and I mean dry, like drought, for 3 weeks before I sold them, and they were on some real nice grass, the last field they had, and it just finished them off. But I think if you don't get that, if you don't get your dry weather, it's a struggle to finish sheep on grass. They need a bit of hard food, because the grass that they're eating just goes straight through them. So that's partially to blame with the state that they're in, but a lot of it, which can't be helped, but a lot of it is me. I didn't pay enough attention. I didn't know anything about scab, but now I do know, and now I know that there's things you can do to treat it. I thought they'd probably need dipping or something, which I'm not set up to do. So buy better quality sheep stock in the first place. Take better care of, hopefully the hedges will be cut, but might spend a bit more on electric fencing and do a bit more electric fencing to keep them away from the hedges so they don't get stuck. Because, I mean, to be fair, I didn't lose any because of that, but I don't think it does them any good being stuck in a hedge for a week. It just knocks the growth rates a little bit, I would imagine. So yeah, lots of little things I've learnt, but you shouldn't have a year as hard as this one, so, in theory. So anyway, right, I've washed that off, so I'm just thinking, before it goes dark, I might maybe cement some of these blocks I've got onto my new pad. It's not exactly set completely, but I think it's set enough to cement some blocks onto. Because in theory hens come in tomorrow, so I've sort of run out of time. I want to get the bin in place and connected back up. I can do a bit of work in here this evening, hang all the feeders up and just do all the finishing touches, flush the water out. Dan's system isn't going to be set up for when they arrive, I don't think, unless he turns up tonight, which I don't think he's planning on. He still had quite a lot of work to do. He still had some coding. He had to design and print the box, you know, the plastic box for the computer to go in, because he wanted to change the design. The last one had too many holes in it because it wasn't designed for body for this. It was designed for something else, so it needs to be a bit more dust proof, I think he said. So we had quite a bit of work to do, so I can't see that he's going to have it ready for when the hens come, so I'm just going to have to manually flush it for the first few days, so it shouldn't be a problem. I've got the food in the bin ready, came in this morning in my big bin, so I think I'm ready to go. I've got a load of tools to put away and stuff, but anyway, I might just have a play, go and find my trowel and have a play mixing some cement. So yeah, this will probably be the end of this video. Christ, this video is probably about an hour long, I don't know, a lot of rambling, sorry about that. So yeah, thanks for watching anyway, I won't say anymore. And if you like this channel, make sure you don't subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.